I'm Lise LeBlanc, therapist, author, and life coach, and today I'm talking about codependence. What is it? How does it develop? And most importantly, 5 ways to break free from this type of toxic relationship dynamic. Healthy long-term relationships require that we walk the tightrope between satisfying our partner's wants and needs while also advocating for our own needs and making sure that our own needs are being met. We're all human and we all have needs. That said, some people are not psychologically healthy. Some are intensely needy, and others have an intense need to be needed. And when these two types of people get together, a codependent relationship can easily develop. Typically, the codependent dynamic involves one partner being excessively focused on satisfying the every need of the other partner, trying to keep them happy and avoid conflict at all cost, including at the expense of their own needs, their own interests and aspirations. And this over-caring is usually driven by low self-worth and a need for approval. Here's an example of a common codependent relationship dynamic. Let's say your girlfriend is very insecure and constantly seeking reassurance and attention from you. In turn, you have a sense of importance and purpose in being the one person who can make her feel better and give her what she needs. And over time, you struggle to spend time apart. You're no longer spending time with your family and friends or pursuing your own interests, goals, and dreams. So you lose your sense of autonomy, and as she depends more and more on you, you maybe start to fear losing her and losing your role as her end-all be-all. So keeping her happy becomes your mission in life. But as time goes on, your girlfriend wants, needs, and expects more and more from you. You're taken for granted. And instead of taking a step back and reevaluating your relationship, you just try harder and strive to make your partner happy. And when she's not happy, you feel like you're failing. And when you're not immersed in fixing her problems, you feel like you have no value or purpose. But then when she does respond positively, you feel important, validated, and maybe like her hero. Once this toxic dynamic develops, it can be very difficult to break free from. Narcissists are very skilled at finding people who are prone to falling into a codependent role. They want someone who is eager to please them, who they can manipulate, dominate, and domesticate. Okay, so now that we have a clearer understanding of codependence and the characteristics of a codependent, let's look at why breaking free from these types of relationships can be so hard. Number 1 is the fear of rejection. If your partner has been depending on you heavily to meet their needs, then what happens if you decide to start prioritizing your own self-care and you start attending to your own needs and not as much to, jumping through all of their hoops? Let's just say if you've been in a codependent role for a while, any reduction in the level of support and services you provide will likely be met with serious backlash. Number 2 is the fear of failure. If you've invested months or years of your life into this relationship, you've envisioned spending the rest of your life with this person, you may share a home, you may have children together, pets, many things that you love. You may have joint finances, a huge network of family and friends, and on the list goes. When your heart and soul has gone into making a relationship work, it can be incredibly difficult to admit defeat. It can feel like a massive personal failure. Number 3 is guilt, obligation, and a sense of responsibility. Codependents often take on responsibilities that rightfully belong to their partner, often out of a sense of duty, the need to be needed, or a belief that they can fix or rescue the other person. And this serves to reinforce their partner's dependence on them, and it hinders their partner's ability to develop a sense of personal responsibility and autonomy. And over time, the weight of these extra responsibilities can be incredibly heavy and overwhelming. In fact, you may feel like you just can't do it anymore, and yet you feel too guilty and obligated to leave, no matter how badly you're being treated, because your partner has been depending on you for so long and you don't even know how they would survive without you. Number 4 is low self-worth and a weak sense of identity. You may have lost yourself in this relationship. Heck, maybe you've never had yourself to begin with. Who would you be without this person to fix, save, support, rescue, or take care of?
You're Ken.
But it's Barbie and Ken. There is no just Ken. That's why I was created.
Codependents typically pick partners who are insatiable, and so their sense of self-worth and their sense of identity ends up being eroded more and more over time, and they don't have any clue who they are or how they would even survive without their toxic partner and without their role in the toxic dynamic.
I just don't know who I am without you.
Number 5 is the fear of change. The fear of change can make it difficult to break free from codependent relationships in a similar way that a fear of change can prevent us from doing anything new and different. No matter how uncomfortable the dynamic, it is familiar, and it becomes your comfort zone, even though it's very uncomfortable. Okay, so here are 5 practical strategies to break free from codependency and regain autonomy and control over your life. First, examine what led you to this relationship. It's important to understand that codependent relationships are built on a foundation of fear, low self-worth, and insecurity. So examine what factors led you into this relationship, especially if this type of toxic dynamic is a pattern for you. I highly recommend seeking support from a coach or counselor who can help you examine this. Number 2, examine your role. It is very easy to point the finger at someone else and to tell ourselves that the problems we're having in our lives are all other people's fault. But when you start taking responsibility for what's happening in your life, that's when you can start shifting your experiences and your outcomes. As long as you're a victim of circumstance having nothing to do with whatever negative experiences you're having in your life, then you will be helpless and you will be powerless to change. Number 3, figure out what you want, need, and value in a relationship and in life. What are your boundaries? What are your non-negotiables? Whether or not you decide to stand up for yourself and set boundaries, it's important to get honest with yourself about what you want and need in a relationship and why you're not honoring these needs and putting effort into getting them met. So at least recognize that standing up for yourself is an act of self-love and self-respect. And if you can't respect yourself, it is highly unlikely that anyone else really will. Number 4, identify your fears, whether it's a fear of rejection, retaliation, stigma, or whatever other consequences that you may face when you try to break free from a codependent dynamic. These internal fears are real and they are very powerful, more powerful than any external forces that are playing on you. You can make as many pros and cons lists as you want. You may rationally know that you need to shift this relationship. You may come to the logical conclusion that you need to leave. And yet, fear will keep you entangled and enmeshed in the toxic dynamics for years, maybe even a lifetime. And if you are seriously considering leaving or seriously considering shifting out of your codependent role, then I would suggest seeking guidance from a financial advisor or legal professional to get the knowledge, and to realistically examine the possible outcomes should you decide to end the relationship or should your partner decide to leave you once you're no longer, striving to please them and meet all of their needs and expectations. Number 5, start taking baby steps towards self-care, towards asserting yourself, towards your autonomy, and towards communicating with your partner in ways that focus on mutual needs fulfillment. For tips on how to communicate with someone who you suspect is highly narcissistic, click on the link above. One of my favorite sayings is, if nothing changes, nothing changes. Don't expect the people who've been hurting you to suddenly wake up and magically change. It's you that's going to need to wake up and change. So you're going to need some distress tolerance skills, because I can guarantee that if you stop bending over backwards to please and appease your partner, especially if you've been doing it for a while, they will do everything in their power to manipulate your emotions in order to get you back in your place, and you can expect that things are going to get emotionally uncomfortable, which may cause you to fawn and fall back into your codependent role pretty quickly. If you're interested in developing distress tolerance skills, I recommend starting a mindfulness practice. Mindfulness involves paying deliberate attention to the present moment without judgment and without jumping on every thought train that goes by. But it's not easy. Calming the storm that's going on between your own two ears can be incredibly frustrating. But when you can start detaching from your own mental chatter, you can tame a lot of that mental noise, which helps with stress reduction, sleep, better focus, emotional regulation. But again, let me tell you, it is not easy to quiet a busy mind, which is why I recommend and endorse Muse, the brain sensing headband, to help people get started. I've been using the Muse with clients for almost 20 years. This is EEG technology that measures and interprets mental activity, providing real-time biofeedback to guide you in calming your mind. If you want to learn more about Muse, click on the link in the description section of this video. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And for more information on breaking free from toxic relationships, click on the link above.